Okay, let's try this again. We were attempting to live stream earlier this evening, and Gremlins overtook everything. But I think I have it fixed. Just did a quick reboot. And in case this fails again, no big deal. I have been recording for the last half hour or so. It's just kind of going over the list of things that we're going to discuss. And if you want to call in on any of these topics, phones will be open here momentarily. But I did pre record. So if I'm buffering again, what I'll do is I'll just upload that and we'll work on it, whatever that means. So we have quite a lot to talk about tonight. Let's go ahead and go through the IPR points of interest for December 29th, 2024. Again, appreciate your patience. Those of you who have been showing up and then it shuts down and repeats, but I think we're on this time. So the Infinite Plane radio points of interest for tonight. David Icke called Butler fake. Luigi Mangione sharing a cell with Diddy. If you get set on fire in a subway, nobody's going to help you because of the Daniel Penny effect, which is like the bystander effect. The Daniel Penny effect. Laura Loomer threatens to shoot Musk. Elon Musk's dad admits that Elon Musk is named after a Nazi rocket scientist. No parallax in Antarctica.
So Jonathan Morandi, when he went on camera, he had a...
We'll get back to this one. We have quite a lot of clips from the final experiment. Russell Brand enters his Charlie Manson phase. He's waving around a knife. Very concerning. See, 3 plane crashes in 24 hours. Is that a psyop? What's going on there? Look, when it comes to anything, I tend to think if it's promoted and it's part of a collection of things, it's generally questionable, but I'm not saying that nothing's real, everything's fake. That's not my claim. Tragic coincidences. I put out an article today showing how there are many coincidences that connect the various hoaxes on the world stage because it's a fictional universe. And all these stories occur within the same fictional universe, the same bubble. And what's interesting about this article, the tragic coincidence, that's the term the media used, is that you can find overlapping drills, events, and even actors. So in this case, it turns out, and I have the receipts here, that 50 people from the Vegas shooting on 10/1/2017 went to another bar 13 months later. And 50 of these people, again, going to a different bar, were shot at again in a second shooting. So that's pretty much bad luck, right? But it goes beyond that, because while this group was being shot at for the second time, there was a drill down the street at the Salem Hospital. And that drill involved 50 actors. So that's interesting. 50 actors, and they're reenacting the Vegas shooting. So you have a reenactment of a mass shooting with 50 people pretending that it's happening again, while 50 people who are at the real thing are experiencing it all over again. And it's all happening on the same street, same block. Tragic coincidence or evidence of media fakery, which is, like in most cases that we see here, accompanied by concurrent simulations. We can use the word drill, but I think simulation makes more sense to use here, because I want to appropriate that concept and apply it specifically to the mental model of the world that we share. And what I'm saying here is not hyperbole. To say that we live in a simulation or a fictional universe, just think about how a certain percentage of our news stories are fake. We talk about this all the time. We point them out. But even though it's a small percentage of them that are obviously fake and the rest could be true, because they don't lie with every story, it's the fake ones that drive the big narratives. So they have a disproportionate influence over the big story. So it's a fake news generated news cycle or fake news driven, and it all becomes history. All right, let's go ahead and see who's got here. So, yeah, again, we were shut off earlier, but I'm going to upload something later. All the important points. Children of a Lesser Shed Dog says Jimmy Carter's death is a demarcation point for a major event. I don't know the significance of the day, but yes, that was just announced. Joined by LAC, Mizell, Flozik, Diana Southard, Thirst for Truth. Mizell says folks are pointing out the odd things about the Korean plane crash. Landing gear wasn't down. It was supposed to come in from the north, but came in from the south, hence crashing into the berm wall. Okay. I'm glad we're looking at it skeptically, because I don't have enough information to call it fake unequivocally, but I don't have enough information to say it's real. So that's why, even with this Antarctica thing, I make the point of saying we have to suspend judgment. And if somebody has a problem with that, like how dare you not believe it right now as it's reported, I would say, what's wrong with you? You know, if in 2024 you're not disbelieving by default, like what causes you to have such great faith in everything that's broadcast that you just trust it implicitly? That's just naive in this day and age. Adam Geringer says it's been a minute. Yeah, thanks for joining. We've been getting a lot of people returning because I got my original channel reinstated. Osher has brought in 5 Blue Wrench Lodge memberships. So Virgin, Christopher Lee, Gem Angel, Just Give Me 5 Minutes, and Triangle here have all received blue wrenches. Lord Laney says the Psy Opera is so greasy, at least you'll have oil for the popcorn. You know what it brings out the worst in people, because those of you listening, you all know that the Luigi Mangione event was a hoax and a psyop. And I put out day one that he's based on the Joker, that they sold the public on sympathy for the Joker and his class warfare, kill the rich, he's a victim of society, he's justified in killing the rich people. They sold people on that narrative first. And now they're bringing him out. And we're looking at the story as it unfolds. And nothing that you see in any of these psyops is accidental. What I mean is, there's no reason to think that it's any less planned when it comes to any big psyop than like a movie. So I look at this as though it were a Kubrick-directed film. Like we're looking at Stanley Kubrick or something. And every little detail matters. So here's a couple of things here. We had already compared him to the Joker. And he's already been compared by the media, Hollywood Reporter, to Travis Bickle from The Taxi Driver, the basis for Joker. And I've gone over these connections ad nauseum. I described him as the Joker, connected him to the Riddler. And interestingly enough, he was compared to Dave Franco, who it turns out played the Riddler in Young Justice. So these connections have been stacking up. But in a more recent picture of Luigi, he's in a cop car, and you see Deadpool right there on the window. So Deadpool is the character who is something of an anti-hero, but his name is Wade Wilson. So here's a picture of, and a lot of people have noticed this now. So here's a picture of Luigi, and he's smiling like the Joker. It says here, I'm sorry, but this picture is iconic. You got Luigi smiling, and then you got Deadpool and Saint Tyrone Biggums in one frame. So this is the character being portrayed by Dave Chappelle, the saint with the, I guess he's got crack on his mouth, but Deadpool. And so people think that this is iconic. Yeah, it is iconic, I'm sure, but it's planned. So what's the connection with Deadpool? So this just solidifies what we've been saying. So Deadpool 1, anti-hero, kind of a Joker, but his name is Wade Wilson. And right now, on trial, we have Wade Wilson. This is a serial killer, and he is known for groupies. Apparently, he's very popular with the ladies, sort of like Luigi. Luigi has a tremendous female fan base. People are sending him money, sending him letters. He's a kind of like a manufactured folk hero. And here he is, associated with Deadpool. And the character Deadpool shares the same name as this killer, who not only has the same kind of hold over his audience that Luigi does, but he's got the Joker smile tattooed on his face. So just more layers to this particular character. And I use the word character advisedly. These are manufactured characters. There's no patsies, just LARPers. He's a live action role player. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the comments. Philip says, you never see the original pictures of the shooter anymore. Never shows us any more CCTV. He doesn't look like... Yeah, the original shooter had a pretty significantly different look. Like there was like a unibrow discrepancy. Nose was different. Philip says, Brian Thompson immediately buried, no time for autopsy. Well, one of the things that I had been pointing out here is that this shooting of the CEO happens right after The Madness on Netflix is released. And The Madness has this storyline of the evil CEO who deserves to be assassinated. And the assassin is again, this is like a class warrior. He's a hero. He represents the working class going after the elite. And that fits Luigi to a T. And since that has happened, we've had a number of instances where Nick Fuentes had his life threatened by this individual. Nick Fuentes would correspond to a character in The Madness called Brother 14, leader of the Forge, online Nazi financed by the billionaire. So you got this Musk, Fuentes, or the CEO in Madness, and this leader of this online group, the Forge. So the America First and the Forge. Nick Fuentes is Forge character. And the Forge character gets killed. Then you have the Laura Loomer character, Lauren Jennings, who gets killed. So we're waiting for that. Now, the characters who die in The Madness, the white power guy who represents Nick Fuentes and the Laura Jennings who represents Laura Loomer, it turns out that they're killed by the billionaire because they're going to expose that they're being financed by him. So it's kind of interesting here because Elon Musk has been directly connected with various Nazi accounts, and I think this is all by design. But you do have a direct match that Musk is the bad CEO in The Madness, and he does kill off some of the people he's been secretly financing. So I'm looking at this Laura Loomer being called out directly by Musk as a troll. He's like, she's an attention-seeking troll, ignore her. And he would know, of course. They smell their own. And it seems like, well, this is as the public would say, this is life imitating art. Life imitates Netflix. If you want to believe that. If you want to believe that life imitates Netflix, go ahead. But then you're going to have to also accept that your premise here, what we're observing every day, the data here shows, is that Netflix has a great track record of predicting the future. So either Netflix is run by a bunch of psychics, or Netflix is nothing but propaganda, and all of its programming is specifically tailored to the incoming news cycle. That's what I say. That is the big conspiracy. All the other conspiracies from chemtrails, 5G towers, aliens, New World Order, those conspiracies are all fake. The only conspiracy that matters is the one that truthers can't see. And it's a conspiracy that has successfully synchronized all mankind into a fictional universe. It's this alignment of all media in a monolithic way. It's just so big they can't see it. Yeah, the phone number's on the screen if you want to call in, 505-510-4226. Philip says, went and watched The Madness after you talked about it. Good recommendation. Yeah, so The Madness has the relationship to what's going on right now. And they also describe The Madness as a virus. The FBI character says that his brother was taken out by a virus. He said there's a virus out there that's killing people. But he wasn't talking about like a virus you'd get from an underheated bowl of bat soup. We're talking about a mind virus. His brother caught the mind virus, turned him MAGA, and then he ended up getting into some violent altercation or something. So the mind virus concept is implicit in The Madness. And then, of course, what they make the point of showing you here is the billionaire is paying for The Madness. He's financing Nazis online, and he influenced the election. Who does that sound like? Like, I'm saying the madness is based on Elon Musk, Don Lemon, Nick Fuentes, Laura Loomer, and Luigi. Luigi's built into it. Luigi using a 3D printed gun perfectly comports with the movie, where you have the gun commune, these Antifa-likes who are manufacturing guns. Yeah, what is it? Diana Southard says Netflix is run by psychics. Yeah, either they're all psychic and we are witnessing real time like magic. Like, wow, we can reliably expect that the Netflix productions are going to be followed immediately in real life by something that just matches it perfectly because they're prescient, they're psychic, life follows art. I mean, all these cliches, but that's not what's happening. These aren't eerie coincidences. It's not like the artists are just so good at reading the zeitgeist that they're just somehow aligning with it in a way that appears to be psychic. No, I mean, we've observed too many instances. I shouldn't be able to predict these things. Before I watched The Madness, before I hit play, I said to everyone, I'm going to watch The Madness with the full expectation that whatever I see in it is going to happen in real life. Infinite Plane Radio.
What is up, man? What's going on, IPS?
Hey, good to hear from you again. How did you find me again? How did you find the Infinite Plane Radio raft again? Was it the old channel?
To be honest, man, somebody was just like, they have the number on the screen, and my fucking high ass, I'm looking right at your number on the screen, and I'm not even thinking to fucking type that shit until the dude said, yeah, man, the number's on the screen. And I'm like, bro, oh, shit, yeah.
Yep, it says agent standing by. That would be me. And I need to do a redesign on my screen. It looks plain. I can fix it, but I'll put a bigger number on the screen that blinks or something.
Well, shit, man, it's not only that, it's actually good to see you. Like you're like you've completely changed like the whole platform up. Like you're showing yourself. Like I never even thought I'd see the day. Like to be honest with you, like I thought it was just the old footage of Mike and stuff. Like bro, good God, it's been years. We've been at this for years now, and just recently, like I don't know, like you know I want to talk.
Hey, and we're on TikTok now, by the way. Just the other day, TikTok invited me, so we're streaming on TikTok, Twitch, and we're getting back to the numbers that we used to get. We're getting back to 200, 300 people live. But yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. The think tank has maintained its standards of evidence. It's maintained its integrity. It has not become an echo chamber, despite what some critics say. And I think we've been learning.
Well, we've never been an echo chamber. They can always say what they're gonna say, but we've never been an echo chamber. But I mean, like, shit, man. A little bit about me. Fuck, man. I lost my arm in February this year. I got into an accident, flipped like 6 times in my truck. Fucking lost my arm, and I had the surgery on March 1st, and then had my second surgery like 2 weeks ago and stuff like that to get some of the extra skin off and stuff like that. But shit, man, I'm still kicking. I'm still here. The earth's still fucking flat. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm glad that you're alive. I'm glad that you survived it. It sounds terrible, but it sounds like you sound good. Your attitude sounds good, and yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it is, and I've got a good message for everybody. Don't drink and drive. Just wait till you get home. Just fucking wait till you get home, people. It's better that way. But other than that, man, this new footage that recently came out with the whole the final experiment shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, there's never a fucking final nothing. Like, y'all can't even fucking say that. And plus, look at all the people that are involved in this. It's like,
yes, I'm with you on this. I mean, like, I'm trying to be as impartial as I can, but none of these people are unbiased. You've got pro one side and then the pro the other side, and each side has their entire identity built into their side. And it's like, okay, this is not even objective, but all they had to do was provide some convincing footage, and they come back with all kinds of weird anomalies and glitches. And you got Wits It Gets It vaping on camera, pretending like it's the cold air condensing his breath, and so it's just full of anomalies. I don't trust it.
Dude, right? I'm vaping right now. I'm vaping right now in between cigarettes. And the thing is like it doesn't work that way. Like, bro, if you're in Antarctica, your breath is cold. That's just a fucking gimme. Like we all know that. Like cold, like hot air touching cold air. Like, yeah, you're gonna see a breath, and we didn't see that at all. Like this, everything is totally sus. I'm not gonna lie, it's just totally sus. Plus, like with the drone footage and everything, and like what you're trying to display with like how the drones operate, especially like the make and model that he has, and all these other people using it and stuff. It's just like, bro, what you've got going on is a complete shambles. Like, I mean, that's just the way that it goes, man. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
we're looking at the drone, and not only is it beeping when it shouldn't be, but we're also looking at it in the bigger context. Like, is it fakeable? Could they fake it? And in the last few years, we have seen the advent of these huge enclosed movie stages where the background, it's like rear screen projection, but it's 360, like the Vegas sphere, where they can literally fake anything, which means that we have to raise our standards of evidence, and we have to say, well, if it's fakeable, we need to get alternative evidence before we can just go along with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, shit, man. Like, there's not only that. I mean, like, Darren, we've been at this for like almost 5 years now of not taking any shit from anybody. Like, and we all see it. And like, the more points of view that we get, and the more that stuff gets streamed, and the more that like, that we get it out there and everything, it's just like it all alchemizes to the same fucking point that water is always level. It's gonna always be fucking flat in your sink, in your toilet, in your tub, in little puddles, in lakes, in ponds, and then when you get all the way to the ocean, it's still fucking flat from left to right. Like, that's what. And why do these people even keep trying to do experiments not over water? Like, what the fuck is up with that? Like, of course, any genius in the middle of this knows that over the water experiments are the only way to go. It's the only way to prove that water doesn't bend, that fucking gravity isn't real. Like, why would y'all go in any other direction, like even Antarctica or shit? What the fuck ever? Who cares? The thing is like, it's got to be over water or it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean? Like,
something else to consider too is that if the world isn't as NASA advertises, then it's not an oversight. It's an active conspiracy to foster a false worldview. So if that's the case, if we have a false worldview being imposed over us and it's a conspiracy, then we shouldn't trust anything coming from people who are on that side of the fence, as in true believers in media. All these individuals are biased witnesses. They're reality impaired because none of the people on the globe side have any clue about how fake the news is. So to me, I don't think you could even talk about the shape of the world without first arriving at the conversation of worldview and how we get our concepts of the world. So I'm just saying that no, it's premature at this point to even be debating the shape of the world when we haven't really figured out what media is and how screwed up we are mentally.
Oh man, it's not only that, it's like, how do we approach it? I mean, like, I've got like my own thoughts and stuff, but like I've to be honest, man, I literally just got to fix my life first. And then I'll do over the water experiments. Like I've got an idea of, just, putting up a bulletin board with a target and then riding a jet ski like 10 miles out with a laser. You know what I'm saying? Like, just simple shit. And I guarantee you, I can actually fucking prove that it's flat doing that. Because it's a fucking laser. And light doesn't bend, even though they try to say that light bends and stuff like that. No, the fuck it doesn't. I guarantee you. You shine a laser light in one direction, it's gonna. You put a laser on a gun. What's it gonna do? It's gonna point at the object that you're gonna shoot at, and you're gonna shoot it. That's exactly what it's gonna do.
One more thing to consider too is, like, let's say they provide evidence that this is real, and we're therefore on a ball. Well, even if you could make the case that we are, and you showed us curves somehow, that doesn't make 60 years of NASA cartoons and CGI suddenly real. It doesn't validate any of their missions, and nothing we have seen from space I mean, from the Earth looking up, yeah, that's real. But what we've seen from space has been fake this entire time. And they still haven't established the existence of low Earth orbit. The space station's still fake. So it doesn't change anything, even if they were able to make a convincing argument for the ball model. And again, with the absence of space and an explanation of what that is, I have to reject their model because it doesn't contain enough information. So no, they haven't
Oh yeah,
moved
man.
me at all.
Like, bro, totally with that all the way. Like, where you can argue is where we can argue because I guess for that sake, I guess we are trying to stay relevant in that aspect because we're out here saying like, hey, the Earth's flat, motherfuckers. Like, get with it. Like, that's we're trying to undo the undoing of all. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like that's it's not like a savior complex or anything. It's just what's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what's right down to the core. And it could actually solve a whole lot of the world's problems and stuff because everything really just operates off of lies. And the faster that we can get to water experiments and doing things over water because water doesn't magically bend, light doesn't bend, like it's going to stomp a fucking mud hole right through their fucking stomachs, through the fucking floor. Like, that's just how it's gonna go. But like the thing is that like we always take it into other directions. Like, let's take it to Antarctica. Let's take it to fucking Antarctica.
Well,
No,
it
how
was
about we?
always a false debate. It was always an either or fallacy, as though it either is as they present it, or it's this archaic model that's been pushed around these last few years. And that was always my problem with this, is that it's not simply either or. It might be neither. And it might be the case, and I think it is the case, that we need a lot more information before we can ascertain the model. And the dominant model right now assumes the validity of outer space as presented. And I'm saying that outer space is largely science fiction. So we can't assume it's a complete model, no matter how they measure it, until we figure out what's in space. And so what I'm saying is that, yeah, this debate, their trip, I'm sorry they wasted their money as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so I'm still
Well,
like,
they keep on wasting money, man. It's all just a big waste of money, and it's a perversion of Tesla's name. Like, look at Elon Musk just with just more distractions and stuff. Oh, look what I'm buying over here. Look what I'm buying over there, and you're still not going to fucking Mars like you fucking promised.
now,
Look at you, man.
what do you
You're
think about
still
this?
not there
Do
yet.
you think it's possible that Elon Musk could be such a useful idiot that he doesn't know space is fake? Like, do you think he could be fooled? Because it just came out today that he cannot enter some of his SpaceX buildings, and that 400 of his SpaceX employees have a higher security clearance than he does. So I'm like, wait a minute here.
Well, those would be his And see, man, in that scenario, those would be his handlers. Whether he knows unknowingly that he can't actually go to space, or he knows that he can't actually go to space and that he's lying. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like that could, man, it's like that one trick pony can actually do a couple tricks. You know what I'm saying? And like, who knows in that aspect? But are we gonna trust that? No, we're not gonna trust that at all. If they keep feeding us bullshit, we're just gonna be right there saying like, "Hey, this is fucking bullshit."
It
Bro.
reminds me
Like,
of Fly Me to the Moon with Scarlett Johansson. Pretty funny movie. It's a rom-com, kind of annoying actually, but in it, they have to fake the moon landing to trick the Russians. But Nixon, the president, doesn't know. The department that fakes the moon landing is above the president in terms of his security clearance. So I see this article that says Elon Musk cannot enter his own aerospace company buildings and he doesn't have the security clearance. And I thought, okay, this is interesting because it might even be the case that he has no clue.
yeah, that actually is highly. I didn't even know that, but yeah, that is actually highly interesting, and that does mean that he has handlers and stuff. So yeah, he could just be a useful idiot in the whole ploy and everything. He's out like, look at all the shit that Tesla did. You know what I'm saying? Like, not one invention that Elon Musk has put out that's actually helped the world in a giant beneficial way. I mean, like, you might get some ugly ass car that costs you a shit ton of money, but like, what the fuck is that really saving you? I mean, it's just got like what, a 52-inch screen TV in it, like big whoop. Like, what, you want a cookie? Like, That's not solving any of the world's problems like what Tesla was doing, and all you're doing is out here just perverting the name of Tesla
That's his
for the
job.
name of fucking
Look
what
at
the world's got going on.
well, if you look at what he's done with X, and you look at what he's done with SpaceX, I think that the design here of this character is he's the fall guy. He's going to be used as a rationale for shutting down free speech online and for curtailing the influence of billionaires in outer space or any other commons. So I think Musk is a fall guy. I think he's an actor. I think he's portraying a role that the world needs to turn against and say we can't have this because look what he's done. And that's why they just symbolically killed him in that Netflix show, The Madness. They put him up there as he's the ultimate bad CEO. That's why it's ironic that Laura Loomer says she knows how Luigi feels with regard to Musk. So I think he's a character in every sense of the word.
Well, bro, I listen to you all the time in that aspect. I actually like, man. To be honest, I've kind of toned down with like the wokeness of everything because like, man, I just been studying on like narcissism and the shit that I got going on in my life and crap like that. But like, like every now and then, like I'll see something from like you, Bro Sanchez, like, and it kind of gets me wanting to come back and like, be a part of everything, even though like no matter the bullshit that I got going on in my life and stuff like that. Cause it's just like, bro, like you guys were there when nobody was there, and it all makes sense. Like y'all were there for like literally everything, like waking up to bullshit, like literally deep fakery,
Right.
literally fucking every.
And
You know what I'm saying?
and isn't
Man?
it
Like,
true
goddamn, Blake.
that you could take
Like,
a you,
where would where would we fucking be right now without the past fucking 4 years?
but
Shit, man.
you can take time off from this, right? Like you can tune out, focus on your own life, but then at no point did you fall back into the spell of mass media, did you? Like once you're inoculated, it doesn't matter. You don't have to pay attention to every single story because you've figured out.
Oh no. No, that's actually one of the reasons why she fucking left me. Is I guess she couldn't fucking handle it. Every time she wanted to talk about something, I had an opinion about it, and then like when I started talking about my opinion, it's just like, shut the fuck up. You're just a conspiracy theorist. Fucking blah blah blah. And it's just like, you know what I mean, man? Like, they'll
Yes.
never get it. But like, you know what, man? Like, it's taught me a bunch of important life lessons. For one, to still be like standing here, even talking to you, man. Like you've done fucking wonders, bro. Through the whole Mad Mike thing, like, man, bro, that was something. That was something, bro. Like I was there for that. Like it's a part of my life. Like shit, you're a part of my life.
Well,
Everybody's a part of my life.
this
Everybody listening.
this think tank has maintained itself as a viable platform for those who really we have an advanced understanding of media, and we're not like escapists, but we're in a place where the normies don't even reach because they don't care, and we do. So I consider this to be sort of a philosophical outlet to have philosophic discussions and to talk about things that may not be within the field of interest of people in our immediate lives. And so, yeah, I think it
Well,
serves
see,
that function.
that's the big difference in people, man. I'm actually here because I think that everybody here cares the most. I think that we actually care so much that we're willing to go against the grain for everything. No matter the indifference between like small minor opinions and stuff like that. I mean, like with the media deconstruction that we have going on here, like that has taught so many people. So many people. It's definitely taught me you can't take anything that you see on TV with a grain of salt or anything like that. And that is like highly important in life because like not only does it like, you're not wasting your money going to see stupid sci-fi movies. You're not playing stupid fucking magic card games or, Dungeons and Dragons. You're not like ritualistically playing video games. You're not look at all the shit that you save just from knowing the fucking truth. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, nobody in the world stage is going to tell you to be a skeptic of media. There's no one suggesting, hey, you should become more media literate and less trusting. You don't get that anywhere. you don't get mind war inoculation. In fact, all the media encourages blind faith belief, trust, what I call mind aids. They don't want us to have critical thinking. They want us to be susceptible to all programming. And that's why they want to get rid of small voices that go against the grain, because they don't want us to influence their influenceable audiences. And so what I try to arrive at here as with skepticism is becoming uninfluenceable, untriggerable, and that you're not getting through my filters unless I, have examined it critically. And so no, it doesn't exist anywhere.
Well, true that, man. And another thing too is like, through all of this, man, like, the past couple of years and everything, I hope y'all been working on your businesses. I hope that you've been finding your way in this matrix. I hope that you've been saving money. I hope that you've been getting closer to your closer loved one. I hope that everything has been working out for you. I hope everything that's been going as planned, since you know the truth. There is no going back from knowing the truth. I mean, like, I can't go back from knowing the fucking truth. I mean, like, shit, I've been flat for like seven whole fucking years now. You know what I'm saying? And I came in late to the fucking party. And like meeting everybody, arguing with everybody, that was the fun part. The whole debates and everything. Like, I'm still kind of up for that shit. Like every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it depends on it. Like I've argued with Fight the Flat Earth on Bro Sanchez's platform. I argued with that motherfucker.
Well, they thought Antarctica would shut this conversation up, and I'm actually happy to see. I mean, even Eric Dubé rose from the dead. Like, everybody is suddenly chiming in, and it's not uniformly supporting Jaron and Witsit. Right. It's everybody saying this is fake, this is bullshit. This is like Apollo 11 all over again. The Antarctica final experiment is being looked at as though it's another staged moon landing. Nobody's trusting it. I think it's a good thing. It's healthy, and it shows that they can't just erase this.
Do we want another? What was it that they did? Bob Nodal and Jaron. What was it? What the fuck did they call it? I mean,
Behind the Curve.
It was so big. Yeah, Behind the Curve. Oh my God. Yeah. No, man. No. And that instrument that they had at the end of it that said that it was measuring, it was fucking measuring the Earth's rotation.
Yes.
Or whatever. Like that's like some shit that I heard from it. It's just like, man, get that shit out of here, dude. Like, y'all are doing everything in the goddamn world other than getting on a goddamn jet ski, shooting a laser at a fucking target over water. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like,
well, look, I'll get behind it. I'll get behind anybody's ideas for proving one thing or the other. I am also very interested in sending somebody to the North Pole. There's the North Pole, and then there's Mount Meru. And I think we need to make some steps in that direction, because I am intrigued by John Dee and Gerardus Mercator discussing a 33-mile circumference black magnetic rock in the center of everything. Like, why would you not want to look at that? So I'm highly interested in getting behind legitimate research. And if somebody wants to send me to Antarctica, I will go. You don't trust Jaron. You don't trust Witsit vapes it. You can trust me. I don't vape. I looked into it. It's like $30K. I would certainly go. So yeah, I'm 100% open. So if you have ideas, submit them, and we will put it into the think tank and see what we can come up with.
My thoughts on that, man, because like I've absolutely thought about that as well. An Antarctic trip. Okay, so like basically, however far Wi-Fi can go, that you can project from one ship to another. I think that there is safety in that. So I think that it's going to take multiple ships. I think that it's going to take a ship that is going to project Wi-Fi, like it goes out literally like, 10,000 something fucking miles, but it can project Wi-Fi that goes to the next ship that can go another 10,000 miles. So that way, like, we never lose footage of you or anybody that's involved. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like the ship is supposed to set sail and still remain in contact by any means necessary with like 30 backups to like 30 backups. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like, because what I'm saying is like, I think personally that it is kind of a dangerous, it's a dangerous mission by itself, but for what we're up against in as far as like our minds of what we're going against, like government and stuff like that, like, you know, I think it's good to have like backups to backups, like a constant live stream, like 30 constant live streams, you know, that like if they were ever to falter, then like we would be able to say like, hey, this live stream isn't supposed to go off stream,
Right.
you
Okay.
know, because of you sound
Well, you know,
like
it was
the safety that.
it was minimalistic what they did in Antarctica. And one of the things I point out, like with the space station, is oftentimes the big hoaxes are given away not by what they show you, because it's like a magic show. It's very much a cultivated illusion, but what isn't there. So, like for example, what wasn't in Antarctica? I didn't see any penguins. And with NASA's budget, you would think they would have rented a few, but like I don't know if that's a big red flag, but it just everything about it seemed very stagey. It just seemed like it was missing quite a bit. And
No, the whole thing is stagey. And like, what if you actually did get to Antarctica? You know what I'm saying? Like your live streams, your personal live streams that you have going that are kept up. You know, you got watchers on your stuff, and then like you actually get there. You make board to Antarctica, and then from that point, you know, you're telling everybody on the live stream, and then you've got the battery power to back it up, the skis, the dog sleds, or whatever that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? That
okay, what about
gets
this?
you to that point.
I didn't notice any wind. Mazel pointed out there's no wind. And so I thought that's kind of weird. There's like no weather there. And then they said, we have to leave early because there's a big storm coming in. And they described this big storm. Their tents are being whipped. They described the storm, but we never saw it. So I still need to see if there's any footage of this storm. They supposedly fled. Otherwise, they would have been trapped there for Christmas. And I didn't see any wind, didn't see any storm, no penguins.
Dude, right? Yeah, no penguins, no storms. It's just like, man, are y'all even in Antarctica or what? You know, like, where's the like the real shit? Where's the raw? Where's the fucking salmonella on the meat? Like, where is this shit at? And it's never to be found. And like, I think that's all I'm saying is like, I'm actually down with the idea. I know that I'm not the only one with the idea of going. You're not the only one with the idea of going to Antarctica. We all have probably a billion ways that we've probably thought about it. Like, there's probably somebody out there that's probably thought about this down to a T. You know, and you know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, I'm giving a vague representation of how I think it should go. So, you know, nobody be hating on me out there like, hey, you stupid motherfucker, that's not how we would do this. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? I probably know that you're smarter than me and know how to get to where we need to go. But like, the thing is that like, we're there to prove something. So that's like what it's mainly all about, is that we're there to prove something. And, you know, if people like Jaron can go to Antarctica and gets it, or fucking whatever. Like, he wasn't even that popular. I remember when he first fucking came out, he only had like 2.5 years of fucking referendum before, look at him now. He's standing right there next to Jaron, like, in Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like,
Look, I don't know him. I don't know him very much, other than he was a consistent debater. And my only criticism is that they never include special effects in these debates. So they'll talk about it, they'll make videos about it, but when it comes down to it, they're talking to, let's say, Fight the Flat Earth or McToon, and they're not talking about, hey, let's discuss the special effects, because these guys say there aren't any special effects, and they can't be intellectually honest.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, man. You know what? Fight the Flat Earth is never going to argue? The fucking moon going across the sun. That's what he's never going to fucking argue. Because you know what, man, we were all there. We were all there, and you know what? It was like, what? Again, 2:45, almost 3 o'clock. It's not nighttime. Where's the goddamn moon? Obviously not in the fucking sky. But look what's fucking happening. An eclipse. So what I was trying to tell him is like, bro, you never see the moon. Like, we're watching the moon come across the sky. Like, hey, look, everybody, there's the fucking moon. It's about to go in front of the sun for the eclipse. Nope, you never see that. All you see is just a black shadow going across the sun. That's it. And then I even, like welder's mask. I took the glass out of a welder's eye mask, and I looked at it like as it was happening. Like, and bro, like the whole thing was fucking perfect. Like, it was actually like a damn perfect day. It was like nice, cool weather, but sunny outside. It was just freaking perfect. Like, everything was just perfect. Like, I don't even know how to explain that, but like life was just perfect in that moment. But the thing that you never see, the thing that you never actually see is the goddamn moon fucking coming across the sky to do a fucking eclipse and then travel across the sky for the rest of the world to have their nighttime with the moon in their sky. And so that's what I was fucking arguing with him, is that you never fucking see the moon go across the sky, cross the sun, do a goddamn eclipse, and then go to the other side of the world so that way everybody can have their nighttime and see the moon in the sky. You never fucking saw that. No, you didn't. And then he later said that, oh, I'll just fucking upload a video to Facebook showing the moon going across the sun. And he never even fucking did that, bro. I fucking paid attention for like 2 weeks straight, and you still never fucking did. I got bored. There is no fucking footage of the moon going across the sun. It's just the sun eclipsing itself. Get fucking real, dude.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
look, I'm with you on this, and I appreciate your skepticism and your refusal to just kowtow to that footage they gave us, because that's uncritical to accept it. And it's not about these individuals. It's about the footage, and the footage is really kind of sus. The drone thing we talked about, the Vapegate. I'm sorry. And then they got the weird Masonic single boot thing. Nothing about it seems legit. I want to see footage of the storm that they said they were experiencing. If I don't see that, I'm just going to assume it was a movie set and they filmed it in Vegas. But very good to hear from you again. And certainly, call back anytime, and make sure you're on the newsletter so you don't miss us when we are live.
It's good to hear from you, bro. And I'm going to hop off. I know other people want to get on.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate the call. Good hearing from you. Glad you're okay. And again, call back anytime.
All right, bro. Love you.
Awesome. Longtime listener and think tank participant. We've got a comment here from 2TV Media Ventures. Perp Walk article by the Reporters Committee in the 2000 fall issue in the News Media and Law page, quote, staged perp walks constitute unreasonable search and seizure. Staged perp walks violate the Fourth Amendment rights of criminal suspects. Okay, I hadn't come across this, but a lot of people were noting that Luigi Mangione was given this perp walk that looked like he was right out of the Joker. Like he was like some kind of a, I guess he is sort of a star, but like a rock star. And you look at these images. Here we go. Staged perp walks are unconstitutional. Okay, so some people are suggesting this violates his rights. Others are enamored with him. And there are pictures of him where he is compared. Here he is. He's surrounded by a couple of officers, and he's compared to the image of Lee Harvey Oswald, the very iconic image of Oswald. Not a coincidence. And the Oswald, the Joker connections, these are all part of the bigger story. And it's actually a bigger story. But the main thing here, one of the stronger points here underscoring our version of things, the version that this is all a psyop, one of the major hoax indicators is the direct correlation between this character and the Joker. It couldn't be any more perfect, where they have a look-alike contest, and these are going on around the world. I saw one in Brazil as well. Look-alike contest for Luigi with the hoodie. Some people wearing shirts that say deny, defend, depose. And this is exactly like the Kill the Rich movement in the Joker, where they put on the clown mask. So clown mask, the hoodie, dressing like the guy, class warfare, kill the rich. The storyline of Luigi going against the elite CEOs correlates with the Joker and his struggle. And a man who's murdered in cold blood and you're laughing. This is from the New York Times. The Joker element has been pretty strong throughout, from his original picture with the smile. And then he's been compared to Joker, the Boston bomber, Joker Sarnoff, who is also described as smirking and smiling. But the conspicuous overlap of entertainment with future news happenings. So the Joker, the Riddler, the madness, this should be viewed as evidence that you're looking at a hoax. It's a hoax indicator. Real life events don't copy and mirror whatever just happened on Netflix. Like once in a while, the public will notice these things and call it a coincidence, but no, this is actually systemic. This is formulaic. There are no coincidences on the world stage. And these staged perp walks, yeah, this is because he's an actor. And yeah, there are some anomalies. The unibrow thing kind of strikes me as odd. And there's some connection with his attorney and Diddy's attorney, and they're staying in the same place. So there's quite a lot there. Immortal L says there's Ted Bundy vibes connected to Luigi. Okay, well, there's Ted Bundy vibes, but then there's the serial killer. And I think his name is it Wade? So, yeah, there's this serial killer with the tattoos on his face. Wade Wilson. The Deadpool killer. So the Deadpool killer has groupies. Luigi is photographed with Deadpool. Luigi's already been compared to the Joker. And then Wade Wilson, who has the serial killer Wade Wilson, has Deadpool's name, has the Joker smile tattooed on his face. So there's another correlation here, the idea of a killer with groupies. And right now, Joker 2 I think Joker 2 is streaming now. And one of the storylines in Joker 2 is he's on trial and he's got fans outside. And in fact, I think there's a bombing and Luigi's about to go on trial. So the story's not over yet. But as I said earlier, when you're looking at one of these psychological operations, it's a fake event, a series of events. It's all narrative. You should look at everything as meaningful. There are no coincidences. So this Deadpool connection in this photo where he's smiling is, again, cementing a lot of the connections. And you're meant to. You're meant to make associations as a media consumer. These are post-hypnotic suggestions. These are deliberate associations. These are illusions. This is literature. You know, the world stage has a script and it uses all the techniques of literature. Okay, and then also he was compared, I mentioned this earlier, to Dave Franco. And so the Dave Franco comparison, well, yeah, they look alike. And I thought, well, what's the meaning of it? And I said, has Dave Franco ever portrayed an assassin? Well, then Cubstar found, well, no, he portrayed the Riddler. No coincidence. So our Metascript character analysis has been vindicated. So we talked about the tragic coincidences, retro auto hoaxing, the Route 91 and the Thousand Oaks. I called out this popular conspiracy theorist. Her name is Mindy, and she's done this documentary on Vegas. And I put it up on her account, and I said, will you explain this? I said, explain this, I Heart Mindy. So I Heart Mindy is a host of Conspiracy Truths. And she put out a documentary, and I'm surprised she unblocked me. She frequently blocks me because I'm a critic. She put out this documentary called Route 91 Uncovering the Cover-Up. And her premise is that everybody there died, but that it was a second shooter, that it was the deep state. So she doesn't subtract from the story, but she accepts the story as presented and adds on to it. And I think this is what a government operative looks like. They're concealing the truth beneath this false flag rabbit trail. So I asked her to explain this. How do you explain 50 survivors being shot at again while it's being reenacted next door? with an identical number of people, 50 people. I mean, it's absurd. Sort of like the Aurora shooter, the Joker shooter, shoots up a theater. Before the shooting, there's a gangster movie where Sean Penn has produced this gangster movie where the gang members shoot through a movie screen into the audience. That was the trailer before the Batman shooter came out. I mean, we have so many examples of this. We're way past talking about this as, speculative. Like, are these coincidences or is it intentional? No, we know what we're looking at here. Okay, I'm going through my Twitter feed to make sure I haven't missed anything. We talked about David Icke calling the Trump shooting fake. That's pretty good. Constant state of crisis. This is a post by There Already Here. And this is pretty decent. Let's see if I can get a couple pull quotes. The modern system of maintaining a constant state of crisis. It's a game of messaging and creating collective fears to drive attention and action. Now, this is interesting because this is an article describing, quote, fear-based engagement. We had just talked about the drone panic. That was a textbook panic. There were no drones. It was a mass hysteria. And even the people who didn't see any drones talked about the drones as though they were real. What's with all the drones? Joe Rogan comes out and he says, now I'm concerned about the drones because they could be nukes. Then you have people saying, oh, these drones are looking for a lost nuke and there's radiation and now we're sick. So then you had people in New Jersey claiming that they were getting radiation sickness from drones. So you got a panic, you had psychosomatic illness. So this is typical. This is everything. This is every major psyop functions in the same way. These are all panics. They just, and I call them hyperstitions. That's the term that you would use. Because a superstition, like werewolves, vampires, ghosts, these things are invalidated by the dominant paradigm. But the superstitions that are treated as real, you would call them hyperstitions because they're added into our shared reality, even though they don't exist. But what I'm really pointing out here, and this is kind of intrinsic to my upcoming book, Lie World, is that the big fear-based psyops are there for essentially creating barriers and parameters to frame our existence. And that's why truthers are, for the most part, what I would term propaganda mules. And what they are presenting isn't truth, but just more things to be afraid of. And what I advocate here is the white pill approach, pointing out things that you shouldn't be afraid of. And people don't want to hear it. I pointed out to someone that nobody died in Butler, that nobody got shot, the fireman didn't die. And people want to argue on this point. They want to get mad and say, how dare you say nobody died? It's like, okay, you want to hang on to your nightmare version of things, be my guest. But don't blame me when you come down with chemtrail lung or radiation sickness or some other kind of psychosomatic effect. Mustang Baby said, I live in New Jersey, just outside New York. I'd like to call in, but I'm a bit shy. Yeah, one thing, though, is the drones were all planes, and this was educational. So even though a lot of people were mistaking planes for drones, what came out of it was, and this is something we dealt with on this channel with regard to people claiming they were seeing the space station, is a higher standard of evidence was introduced. Mick West gets credit for this, but he said, every time somebody sights a drone, you get the date, time, location, the direction they're facing, and then you cross-reference it with flight tracking websites, and they were able to definitively prove that every major viral drone sighting was literally an airplane. There were no drones. There wasn't even one drone or 5 drones that maybe there's some plausible excuse for people arriving at the conclusion we're being invaded. No, there were 0 drones. Rumors and rumors and rumors. And then you get these paranormal people saying, oh, the drones were UFOs, Pleiadians. You had people recording Venus saying, look at this magical orb, talking to it about Jesus. I mean, I'm not making this up. And it was talking back to them. Or, more likely, the person making the video was changing her voice and pretending Venus was talking to her. talking to an orb. And this orb was reported by ABC News as a mysterious orb. They're recording Venus out of focus. And then Russell Brand tweets about it. And he says, what's going on? We're being visited by all these angelic orbs. It's like, those are called planets. So these aren't flat earthers who are highly critical of this supposed trip to Antarctica. These are non-critical, gullible, panic-driven, easy-to-convince media fundamentalists. They see it on the screen. They believe it's real. It was very enlightening. But when it comes down to it, we have to have these standards of evidence with any kind of claim, extraordinary claims in particular. So if somebody says they've seen the ISS, my response to that is, I don't trust your sighting. It could have been a drone. For me to believe that you've seen the space station, I need two witnesses, at least 20 or 30 miles apart, so they can triangulate their footage, which will reveal, is it 30,000 feet up or is it 185 miles? You can't tell with one camera angle. You need two shots. You need two angles. Like I saw this other video where this guy's recording the sky, and it appears to be flying saucers way up, like stars moving, like lights in the sky. And he's shining a laser pointer at them. And when he shines a laser pointer on one, it glows. So the video goes viral. Millions of people were looking at this video, and they're saying, wow, the aliens are reacting to laser pointers. Well, it turns out that these were fireflies above his camera, and it had the light on. So the fireflies were lit from below, which made them trick the camera. So the camera was tricked into seeing these little lights in the sky, which were reacting with the laser pointer by reflecting. Now, if they had my standards of evidence, there would have been two cameras recording the lights in the sky. Well, a second camera wouldn't have seen anything because they were gnats or fireflies 6 inches above the camera. Let me play this clip. This is McToon, who says that if you don't believe that Jaron and Whitsitt were in Antarctica, you are serving Satan.
I don't know why you would say such a ridiculous thing. Obviously, you didn't do your own research, or you are just happy lying, and that's your purpose in life, is lying, serving Satan, which obviously you do.
Which obviously you do.
Serving Satan, which obviously you do.
Okay. A lot of anger, a lot of attempts to shame people into believing, and I wish I could. I wish it was that simple. But it's not my fault that they don't meet the burden of proof. All right. Quite a lot going on. Looking forward to 2025. Which city is going to get hit by a planet killer asteroid? Planes falling from the sky. That's kind of the big news right now. Let me go ahead and run down the list one more time, make sure we haven't missed anything. But if you want to get on the newsletter, it's ips.monster. So you won't miss the archives when I send them out. David Icke calls the Butler shooting fake. Luigi and Diddy, BFFs in prison. Loomer threatens to shoot Musk. Elon Musk's father comes out with the information that Musk was intentionally named from the Elon in Werner von Braun, the Nazi rocket scientist book. So it's not just a coincidence. His dad named him for that. No parallax in Antarctica, or they weren't in Antarctica. We're waiting for... I got to see some comparisons, but that's kind of another indicator of a possible hoax. That might be a giveaway of a hoax. Another indicator, just the fact that the background isn't moving like a real background would. For me, it's the drone. It's not VapeGate. VapeGate is shady, but the drone that was beeping as it approached the background, and the beeping was the result of its object indicator. Yeah, that's problematic. Are they in a virtual set? Looks like it. Swirling Spice says, for Antarctica guys, did they show any photos of their travel on a boat, a plane? They did show some stuff from a plane. There was some footage. There was some drone footage, but that could have been faked. Nothing that couldn't have been staged or faked, though. Not that I've seen yet. I'm still waiting. I want to see the storm, because they claimed that the storm was so bad they thought their tents were going to blow away. The storm was so bad that if they didn't leave at that minute, they would have been trapped for weeks. Well, I didn't see any video of the storm. We didn't hear any wind, no blowing snow. I get it. That's not the right place for penguins. No fish there. But the weather was a little too perfect. And again, we're dealing with people who are suspect at best. I mean, I think it's questionable that you would have these extremely biased, non-objective individuals going down to settle this thing. And it's not a one-shot, one-kill proposition anyway. Others are pointing out this, for example. The final fraudulent experiment debunked, they forgot to add footprints in the layering process. And some have noticed that the snow is, quote, groomed.
Doing things, and obviously they've left tracks in the snow.
It says here, I watched Jaren's feet in the first release. His boots never made an impression in the snow. Yeah, his boots did not make an impression. It says, quote, if this is true, then the topic has been co-opted. If true, then Antarctica is a big deal and requires more attention. There's quite a lot here. If they faked it, what does it mean? It raises a lot of questions. Okay, let's see what else here. Just catching up on your comments. Look, I did record for like half an hour while I was resetting the computer in case we weren't able to go live again, but I wanted to be live so I could take calls. So I'm going to upload that video probably separately. And I am suspending judgment with regard to the final experiment. There's too much coming out. And it's been rather unifying. You know, a lot of people that I didn't expect to ever hear from again are suddenly coming out very skeptical. Although I haven't heard from Mark Sargent. I've heard from Eric Dubay. I haven't heard from Mark Sargent. And I think maybe it's perhaps because people want to, remain loyal to their fellow flat earthers or something. And, I understand loyalty, but this is really about the facts. And one of the things about controlled opposition is that the people who set up controlled opposition know that people will put loyalty above anything else. They'll give the benefit of the doubt to someone they trust. And trust is something that we cannot really afford right now. It's a vulnerability. Now listen to this. This is a clip from They Live, a John Carpenter film. And in this one, and most of you know the story, humanity's already been taken over, which is actually how it really is. We've already been occupied. They control our minds. And in this film, he gets these glasses, he puts these sunglasses on, and he can see through the programming. Well, here is a clip, and it looks like they specifically mentioned 2025.
So that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
Okay, so the background music kind of drowns that out. It says here, by 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial for ourselves and you, the human power elite. I received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed. We are off crisis alert. Situation is normal. So again, this is They Live, John Carpenter, and the year 2025.
So that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. the gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
So if you haven't seen They Live, it's a documentary. John Carpenter also did In the Mouth of Madness, which I think is a great movie in terms of its explanatory power as far as how things work. Like, it explains how the media monopoly creates a ubiquitous worldview and how that is, in fact, a form of coercive mind control, but that the entire world then conforms itself to their internalized version of things. Like, they make it real, or they attempt to. So, for example, in The Mouth of Madness, it's about this author whose books become so popular. They're more popular than the Bible, that it actually affects a paradigm shift, and people are essentially living in this author's version of things. And I think that's how things really work. And right now, the mass media has supplanted the role of religion in creating a worldview. But this one, the one we're living in, this religious, our dominant paradigm, you could call it Nasatology, if you wanted to give it a name as far as a religion. It does, in fact, I believe, meet the definition of a ubiquitous global religion. Children of a Lesser Shed Dog says they show how Stargate technology works in They Live. Well, the main thing about They Live is with the glasses, he's able to see the real message behind the billboards and the advertisements. It strips away the cover. And I often say that entertainment is programming first. And this goes for all entertainment, video games, books, movies, that it's programming first. It's propaganda first. The entertainment that you feel from it, like the entertainment itself is like a side effect, or rather it's like sugar in the poison, basically. But the entertainment's a side effect of the programming. Its primary purpose is programming. All right, let's move on. I'm going through my Twitter feed. If you want to follow me on Twitter, we also have a live stream there, and all of our archives go there. I'm going to play this clip. This is from a Netflix show. I believe it's called Evil. And they're talking about the patterns that we see, the numbers and the symbols.
Write it down. Get a notebook and write down everything you can remember, everything. And as soon as you write down the first thing, the next will follow, and the next. Symbols matter. This is warfare.
Symbols matter. This is warfare. We're fighting the worst enemy on Earth.
Fighting the worst enemy on Earth, whose only vulnerability is that they reveal themselves in symbols and numbers.
Whose only vulnerability is they reveal themselves in symbols and numbers. They can't help it.
They can't help it. God draws in straight lines. The devil draws in puzzles and anagrams.
God draws in straight lines. The devil draws in puzzles and anagrams. Now, how clear is that? Because we're examining a multi-million piece puzzle, and we put together a few corners. We have a pretty good idea. It's not something one person could see. And if you're compartmentalized and you look at entertainment as separate from the news, as separate from politics, if you look at the space news as separate from the stuff on the ground, if you're compartmentalized, you won't even be aware that it is a puzzle. Everything is chaos. Nothing is connected. There are no coincidences. Or rather, there are only coincidences. There are no conspiracies. And what I'm saying, my contention here, is that this is the only conspiracy. Prove me wrong. List all the conspiracy theories that the conspiracy theorists have been talking about for the last 20 years, 30 years, from chemtrails to QAnon. Find one conspiracy theory that's valid. And then let's compare it to this. Our observed every day, this is every single time we look at the news, the results of our observations, which seem to consistently reveal that all of our media is designed for the purpose of mind control through world view formation, that we've been given a worldview which essentially replaces religion, but that it's ubiquitous and it's pervasive. It's unavoidable. There's actually no escape from it. We're all in the program. It's an alternate reality game. The only way to not be in it is to be aware of it. Like, you can't even get off the grid in any meaningful sense if you haven't figured out what media is. You can be in a bunker underground with food stored up for 6 months. You got the entire 17 seasons of Friends, and you're still not off the grid. I mean, if you think about it, you go into a bunker for what? Because nukes? Well, nukes are fake. World War III, fake. So if you go off the grid, you've really just put yourself into a FEMA camp, a one-man FEMA camp. You're your own prison warden. You're not any safer. It's like maximum security prison. All right, let's see here. Laura Loomer had her features limited. She's back on. We talked about her. She did say somewhere, and I have it here somewhere, that she knows how Luigi feels. I'll see if I can find that apparent death threat. Anyway, looking forward to the next year of auto-hoaxing the MSM. And whatever the case with the final experiment, I'm just rather pleased with the fact that no one has accepted it just at face value. Everybody is questioning this thing, and it's bringing a lot of people out of the woodworks here. And whatever the final result of the final experiment, the skepticism we see, despite what Jaron and others are trying to convey, is that it's healthy. You're not wrong. You're not a bad person for not believing them. If you don't believe me, I think you're being intelligent. You shouldn't believe me. You know, I advocate here for informed disbelief. We foment a culture of disbelief. I'm not telling people what to believe. In fact, this book that I'm releasing in a couple of days, Lie World, it's not like a list of things that I'm saying, like, hey, this is fake, believe me. That's not what I'm doing at all. What I'm doing here is I'm pointing out that there is such a thing as the PSYOP entertainment complex. That the military-industrial complex is a nothing burger. There's no such thing. The white pill perspective here, and this is the truth, whether or not people want to accept it, the truth of it is, and this is a white pill thing, that the Psy War is World War III. So World War III is ongoing. It's a nonstop global war, but it's all in the mind. It's not going to escalate. It's not going to become real. Children of a Lesser Shed Dog says, ever seen the movie Starman? I don't think I have. I'm familiar with the David Bowie thing. Starman, Mr. Satan, Elon Musk sends his car to space. Starman is playing. Very interesting as far as characters on the stage go. It's a symbolic character. Starman is the savior who is prophesied in some David Bowie song. Very interesting subtext. Can I change the title of the book to They Lie? Well, I call it Lie World for a reason. Lie World is the name of a comic strip that I've been developing. And I put out a pamphlet a few months ago called Lie World Order. Because I think what really needs to be emphasized here is the use of narrative threads and stories and contemporary myths to build up a concept of the world. And that it's really not about force or the weapons, but it's about the lies themselves. So it's a pyramid structure in a way, and we're at the bottom, the lied to, the believers, who don't have a direct connection to the objective reality of things. And then you have a pyramid, and on that pyramid, all the way up, you have media, entertainers, politicians, celebrities, the programming class. But the programming class isn't necessarily in the know any more than the rest of us. But then above them, at the capstone level, you have the programmers who would have the bigger picture. And so I broke this thing down into a structure, the Lie World Order structure, based on this notion that we live in a society of misinformed and programmable, programmed. So you're not just programmed, you're programmable. You've been trained that way. I say mind aids, but Dune, Messiah, Frank Herbert, They're not mad, they're trained to believe. So our society has been trained to believe, trained to be gullible. Believers and knowers. And the knowers, the ones who know how fake things are extremely compartmentalized and unlikely to have the full picture. The people who are most likely in the know, I would imagine, to be astronauts. They would have to know, but who knows? I mean, maybe you're part of the space fakery, but maybe you don't know school shootings are fake. I wonder now about Elon Musk. If Elon Musk doesn't have a security clearance to go backstage at SpaceX, then what is he not apprised of? It's not like they're hiding secret space technology. It's all special effects. So is he not aware of this? Lloyd Miller says, breath turns to snow in Antarctica. Children of a Lesser Shed Dog says, Trump is Elvis. How old would he be? The Trump Elvis thing is weird. It's bizarre. Not saying they're the same person, but the connections between the two are fascinating. There's quite a lot. And right now, Trump is in his Biff Tannen stage. One of the reasons why I had suggested that he would not lose the election is we haven't seen the entire Trump script play out. Like, he's just now getting into his Biff Tannen stage, and this is the part where he reaches his climatic end, this crescendo, and I think it's going to match like what we saw in Megalopolis. And if you've seen Megalopolis, Make Rome Great Again, it's got MAGA all over it. Megalon is Magalon. Caesar is Trump. You know, I've got a collection of movies I want to talk about where the main character, like Biff Tannen, where the main character or one of the main characters is clearly based on Trump. And what I've also found is in these various movies that show this, you also have characters that pertain to, for example, Obama. And these are consistent representations. I have to go through them. But one of my contentions here is that there's no meaningful distinction between entertainment and fake news. And I call them predictive programming proxies, where there's somebody in a movie, in a TV show, who actually has a propaganda correlation to someone on the world stage. But Lie World will be out in about 2 days. I finished formatting and editing today. I just want to put a lot of art into it. If you want to check out the comic strip, Lie World, I'll put a link below. It's at my Tim Osmond blog. Just hit the tab. And I'll be producing those for the tabloid. Plain Dakota says, there's something hoaxy about quantum computers hype, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, I kind of think that there's something hoaxy about the hype around quantum computers, simulation theory, aliens, and I think it all pertains, and AI in particular, and the way that AI is being mystified, misrepresented, exaggerated, mischaracterized. And I think the agenda here has to do with creating a new religion for the atheists, for this atheistic paradigm. So the atheists have their heaven in space. The atheists have their angry God who might flood the world if we don't curb our wickedness. They have that in Gaia and global warming. The atheists who laugh at the idea of angels believe in aliens and salvation from technologically sophisticated aliens who might come down and rapture us. So it's like a new age religion, and so the corresponding mysticism is just the old mysticism dressed up with science fiction language. Lloyd Miller says, quantum computers have nothing to do with quantum mechanics. The only thing I ever hear about with the quantum computing is QAnon stuff. And they tie it in with free money and the deep state being taken out by the good aliens, taking out the bad aliens. Pure fantasy. So many people live in community-generated fan fiction-based universes. And it's also interesting to me how people can fall for something and then they move on to the next thing and they never address what they fell for. So all the people who are hitting the Q pipes have moved on. But they're not talking about, well, I'm a recovered Q addict, or I used to believe a lot of bullshit, or I thought JFK was coming back to save us. You never hear these people saying that I used to believe that. They just move on. I'm like, you can't just move on. You got to hold people accountable to what they claimed. So like anybody who is promoting a drone invasion needs to be muted, needs to be blocked. I've recently started muting and blocking anybody promoting chemtrail alarmism. Because people need to own this stuff. Like what made you not believe in Q anymore? What made you not believe in whatever you were hyping up? What about my children? Save the children. What about Madu children? The children who were shot by lasers in Maui. Like people get outraged about something, and then later they get outraged about the next thing, the next current thing, and they never went and addressed the first thing. Like a few months ago, before the election, you had this panic about Springfield, Ohio, and they said the Haitians are coming to eat your cats and dogs. Well, 1 year prior, the same people were saying the Haitians are coming on boats, they're pirates and they're cannibals. So we had cannibal, pirate Haitians. That disappeared. Now it's pet eating Haitians. Like, what about the cannibals? Why don't we deal with the cannibals before we talk about the ones eating cats? Or the cannibals no longer a problem? Did we solve the cannibal problem and now they're just eating the cats? No, so it's not, there's continuity errors. It's like they have no attention span. Or they exist in a perpetual now disconnected from the past. So there's no credibility loss when you panic. Like Laura Loomer was just panicking about drones. And it turned out that she was sending pictures to people of 3 airplanes landing at LaGuardia Airport somewhere in Florida. It's like, wait a minute here. You just lost all your credibility. Why do you still have a platform? It's because there's no accountability. There's no accountability because nothing is true. Everything is permitted. We're reality fluid. And I say we, I mean the people on the world stage and in alt media and in Woketown. This is why I am so anti-Mandela effect. Because the universe where the Mandela effect is possible is reality fluid. And if they can convince you that reality is fluid, that there is no objective facts, then there's no fake news. There's no lies. You can't call the liars liars if there is no truth. Like here we are breaking down the system of lies and coming up with the methodology to deconstruct it real time effectively, and we're good at it. And then we have other people saying, well, nothing is real. There are no facts. So you want to give the liars a pass? That's why I call the book Lie World. This is the lie world order. We have to address the lies. And you can't address the lies if you don't accept some objective truth. And the objective reality was effectively destroyed when they introduced the atom bomb. It destroyed the fabric of reality. They didn't split the atom, but they split us off from objective reality and put us into a movie-based, actor-driven, alternate reality game. And this has been going on for multiple generations. Philip says, everyone has a short attention span. The news is like a YouTube Shorts feed where you're just cycling from one thing to the next. They forget about the day before. There's always a new thing. Exactly. And this is why I suggest skepticism is so critical. Because if you believe the news as fast as they put it out, well, they give you 3 days worth of news every 24 hours. You don't have enough time to parse everything. The best thing you can do is suspend judgment on anything not accompanied by facts. Categorically reject claims. It's the only way to keep your head above water. The raft, the IPS, Infinite Plain Sight, we have the penguins on the raft. It's one of our common images here, and it's because penguins gather on the water in a raft. And here we are atop the sea of irrelevance. We're buoyant. We have our heads above water, no problem. Everyone else is submerged. They might even come across something true. Like, oh, look, Trump faked his head wound. But they still think the fireman died. Or they still believe everything else that they see on TV. So it doesn't matter if they get the occasional thing right. because they're still immersed in mal and mis and disinformation, and they have an incoherent world view. Okay, let's continue here. Joined by Patricia Steer. Thanks for joining. And a literalist said, smoke the good Q pipes. Yeah, I mean, you have... I listen to... I keep my attention where the various demographics are. Like, I want to know who thinks what. So I want to know, what do they think on Q Street? What are they saying in Alex Jonestown? What's going on in Trutherville? And right now, Trutherville is a mess. It's in a really weak state, I think. There's no coherence. It's fractured. So this is a great time, I think, to recruit for what we're doing. Media skepticism should replace conspiracy theory, because conspiracy theories only bounce off the mainstream stories. That's not skepticism. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. This is, I think I already played this earlier. This is Cult Leader Vibes. This is Russell Brand, who was amazed by an orb in the sky that turned out to be Venus. And here he is quoting the Bible in a very discursive, loose kind of way. And he whips out a knife because it relates to the Bible somehow.
The big lesson that they always taught, when you see the challenges in your life as lessons rather than punishments, region that remains complicated to this day. The road to which gave that...
Unbelievable. Okay, well, we'll continue this talk tomorrow. I think I want to just say I commend everybody who is increasingly exhibiting high levels of skepticism. I'm glad nobody let loyalty get in the way of their objectivity. And I would love to be proven wrong. Prove to me man landed on the moon. I think that'd be great. I would take pride in such an accomplishment. I'd be like, yeah, we did it. We showed them Russians. Like, I would be happy about it. I'm not against moon landings. I'm not against science whatsoever. I'm just against the lie enhanced, special effects enhanced versions of things that are clearly meant to put us into some kind of a controllable box to constrain our minds. That's really what I'm against. But anyway, this has been great. We're going to continue this talk tomorrow. This is Chief Crow, Auto Hoax, or GTFO. And sign up for the newsletter.